Welcome back from the ad break. You are still watching Prime Life. Now, this evening, we are speaking to Kele Lekalake, who is an executive manager at Harvey World Travel South Africa. Now, in post pandemic world, travel agencies are between recovery and innovation. Kele sheds light on the evolution of Harvey World Travel as she navigates the ever shifting business landscape with the integration of BID travel ambassadors being a key pillar of their adaptive strategy. Thank you so much for joining us on Prime Life.
Thank you for having us, Aisha. Good evening.
You're welcome. It's definitely a pleasure. Now, how are the travel agencies and franchises recovering since 2022 when travel resumed?
I think it's probably more on to be more agile because we came back from into a new world where people were everybody spent more time online researching, making the most of online content, and I think we also saw travelers wanting to really leave their houses because everybody was couldn't go anywhere for a long time. So the first at least year or two when the borders were open and everybody could start traveling, we did see a high influx of travelers. You know, obviously exploring different destination, travel experience being important for them, and exploring what they've never done before, and almost looking at their bucket list as a priority for travel.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Now, why do you think it's important to rebrand as a business, and what are the disadvantages of failing to keep up with changes?
We are a 25, well, more than 25 actually, 27 years old brand. And for us, we actually started a rebranding just before lockdown, but it was sort of halted by lockdown. And by the time everybody was back and business had resumed, we actually saw, and because the influx was high, we obviously didn't have a chance to continue with the rebranding, and that's what we're doing now. And I think what we for us was important is to be able to put a more fresh brand in front of the consumer, because people then resonate with what's fresh and what's seen as relevant and what is more innovative and digital. And we went through a bit of a transformation with that. You know, our digital space as a business went through that, and we obviously wanted to tap into the new traveler. We wanted to unlock the new traveler. So that was important for us to have to at least position the brand back in front of the consumer. That it's a fresh brand. We're seeing beyond borders. We want to be able to bring in new travelers, new business owners into our space, because the network that we have today, like I said, it's been in business for so long. And I think also because consumers still recognize the old branding, which was yellow and blue, and now we've got new fresh colors, that resonates more on current trends.
That's beautiful. And before we get into, I mean, unpacking, how you did the rebranding, the importance of digital rebranding, and all of that, tell us about exactly what sets your travel agency different. What sets it apart from other agencies that people can look for? I mean, look for when it comes to traveling. Yes.
I think because our members have been in travel for so long, one is more expertise and experience. Secondly, these are small, medium enterprises in their own right, and they're independently owned. So they have diverse of services. I mean, travel is, yes, flight, hotel, car
Yes.
rental, but they obviously do a lot more. We've got members that specializes in pilgrimage, and that's their specialties.
Oh,
We've
nice.
got members that actually have more focus on business travel, and then we've got members that do, a mix, depending on who their target customers are. And I think what is always, I think, unique is that you bound to deal with the business owner, at some point. And I think that becomes even more personalized. And most of our members, their customers have been them for as long as they've been in business. They've also seen even their children coming through and becoming their new customers.
That's amazing. Briefly, please unpack the integration of BID Travel ambassadors into Harvey World Travel as a new ITC division.
Um, with lockdown, we obviously, as an industry, probably one of the worst affected because we were the first to close and the last to open up. We, as a business and as a group, because we're part of the Bid Travel Cluster Group, we had consultants obviously that were affected by lockdown and obviously were unemployed. And with business resuming, some of them were more interested in starting their own business. Now, as you can imagine, it's difficult to start a business, especially if you're starting out from literally zero base, and as a one person, and you've got your own client base, you've got customers that you want to work with. We then created a division called Bitch Travel Ambassadors, and the intent of it was to be able to empower the independent travel consultant to be able to run their business, focus on a day-to-day of servicing potentially you, Aisha, as a traveler, but we give them the systems, the support to be able to just focus on what they're really good at. And for us, we see that maybe more transformation process for them, a progressive actually, that they become future franchise owners. And that's the reason why we've now integrated that division into the Harvey World Travel franchise model, and because we see them as future franchise owners, and that gives us a chance to really help them build up to a point where we see they're ready to become the franchise owner. Yes. And I guess again, it's what the market is looking for. It's a trend that we've seen post lockdown. So that's the reason why we had to respond to that need.
Now, in terms of just traveling in general, do you think South Africa is being explored enough? And if yes, no, what is your agency doing to make sure that we get onto the good side of traveling and tourism?
I think we do have our people traveling enough, and I think probably with the lockdown, because at some point the borders went, we could still travel within the country, and the borders had not opened up, especially to most markets. I think we saw that people then, everybody wanted to travel somewhere. It didn't matter where it is. And I think one of the things that is important on an annual basis, September becomes the tourism focus month. And of course, we work with tourism agencies and government bodies to be able to be part of that. I mean, short left it's quite popular, and that's always what the travelers want to know. And I think one can always say that I don't think we know our country enough. I don't think if you've been to the Western Cape, you've explored the West Cape enough. You know, you still have people going to Cape Town but not doing the garden route, not doing your Knysna, not doing, so your Plettenberg Bay. So you still have that we have people traveling, but they almost sometimes only resonate with one area. So for us is to always make sure that we put packages that are available. We work with supplier partners to make sure that we can offer local packages that are available. We work with small business guest houses. We have them in our databases to help them with their business. Tour companies, we work with them even locally. So I think we are always making sure that if somebody comes through and they want to explore the countries, we have the opportunity to offer them the right packages through our partners that we work with very closely.
I mean, that's amazing. And let's talk about the importance of businesses rebranding, especially on digital platforms. How important is that, and how has it benefited your company?
Well, the new traveler is online. The new traveler is online. They're inspired by what they're seeing online, and to stay relevant and to keep up with it, you have to be in that space. I mean, for us, we exploring different concepts within travel. We're saying going to Cape Town is not just about a flight and a car rental. It's about humanizing that experience. We've seen that influencers travel has become very popular. We've embraced that. We are looking at unlocking the new traveler, meaning inspiring new 18 to 25, 25 to 35 at different stages of their life with different options. And for us, we rebranded our website. We've done a full 360 rebranding of our website, our social media pages, a total transformation, at least in the last 18 months. We went through certain phases of inspiring, motivating. We now, as I mentioned, humanizing travel, where we now making, it's not just about a picture by the beach. It's about actually seeing someone at the beach and having a travel experience, because that's where everybody's at, whether it's on TikTok, whether we are embracing TikTok. We haven't launched that yet, so we are exploring that. But I think that's where we're seeing the trend, and that's what resonates with the new traveler. And so we're embracing that as we go along.
That's brilliant. Now, how do you think governments and other stakeholders can assist businesses that are still trying to get back up?
I think everybody must be given a fair chance to bid competitively for business.
Mm.
Most importantly, support, be able to bring them on even at the small scale as a start.
Mm.
You have to give somebody an opportunity to start somewhere. Cash flow being important. I mean, travel is it's very much a high volume transaction business. You can have a company traveling so small and rapidly just ramping up their travel in a very short period of time. So cash flow becomes very important as well. So many people must be paid on time as soon as they've provided the service to help them, because a small business, it's very difficult to carry a large debt book over a period of time.
Mm.
Mm.
Now let's talk about the landscape for the travel agency. I mean, for the travel industry, what does it look like? What are the trends? What is the new norm looking like? And also for people that have interest in getting into being travel agencies and studying the business, what advice would you have for them?
I think for a traveler, it's pretty much to say yes. You have the opportunity to do your own research online on
Yes.
where you want to go, what is it that you want to experience.
Mm.
But talking to obviously, if I look within our network, because we have the experience, and our owners of our businesses,
Mm.
even with their teams, have the experience. It's always nice to talk to somebody that can actually give you a more detailed insight and personalize that experience for you.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if it's a destination that they've seen. We've seen interest of places that were probably not as common. I mean, Vietnam, we've got one of our franchise owners that almost every second month is taking a group of people to Vietnam. It's becoming popular.
Mm.
We're seeing countries like Morocco, countries like Turkey becoming also popular. So I think we are seeing destinations that were not always in the forefront becoming quite popular.
Mm.
Of course, your island destinations are still popular for families, because they offer more inclusive pricing. And for new business owners, we definitely seeing that they want to be relevant. Technology becomes important because it's enabler, and whether it's a technology from a system of how they book travel, how they service their customers, and the digital space, for us to be able to help them to just adapt to whether it's social media content and how they consume it. So we're
Mm.
seeing that as probably where we there'll always be a change of some sort, and we want to make sure that we're ready to respond to it.
Mm. And
Mm.
before I let you go, can you
Mm.
tell us exactly what, if someone is looking to travel,
Yes.
why should they consider Harvey World Travel?
Our brand is I think it's and its straps over for more than 2 decades.
Mm.
The experience within the network of our members,
Mm-hmm.
and of course credibility of the brand. I think that's important because there has been a period where the industry got a bit of a backlash because we had agencies that would come, pop up, and then disappear, and that gave the reputation that you can't trust some
Yes,
agencies. So
yes.
so 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 that's something that came up,
Mm.
that has been there before. So for me, is to be able to say you're working with a network that's been in business for so long, and we've got the credibility. We are backed by one of the biggest consortiums in the country, and of course, we love what we do. So we're always ready and excited to take you to your next venture.
Mm. No,
Mm.
that's amazing. Speaking of that, I think it's good that if anything, you are telling your consumers or people that are supporting and want to travel that you are actually reliable, because all over social media, I think people have been seeing a lot of videos of people or agencies just taking people's monies, and then the next thing they're stuck at the
Mm.
airport. Those videos, they're quite funny when you see them, but I mean, it's quite sad that
Yeah,
we're
that's
living in
it.
times where people actually take advantage of people. So I'm glad that Harvey World Travel is an agency that people can actually rely on when it comes to traveling. So thank you so much for joining us and for giving us information on the company.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. Viewers at home, this was an amazing conversation that I had with Kele, who was just telling us about, Harvey World Travel, how they recovered after COVID and the rebranding. And also she gave some insight on, the travel norms, the trends that we should look out for. And I hope that if anything, when you think of travel, you think of Harvey World Travel. But without wasting any time, let's go to a quick ad break. We'll see you right after that.